And what up, everybody? I just got done watching the latest UFC fight night, Brown versus Silva. Wow, that was a pretty good card. But before we get started, before I get into the fights and all that stuff, I just kind of want to give you guys a background of my experience, so you guys get why I wouldn't say why I say matters, but either way. I do quite a bit of MMA myself, and I'm actually planning to get in the cage hopefully pretty soon. Most of my family and people I train with think I should probably finish with school before I get into that. So right now I'm kind of in between, I'm pretty much close to done. So either way, just giving you guys a little bit about myself. But to jump into the card, I did not watch the UFC Fight Pass. I don't know who watches that. Let's see. The only fight I know the actual fighters is Manny Gambirian versus Nick Lenz. In that fight, I didn't get the bet on the counter move on it, but Lenz should have won that fight. He gave Chad Mendes, who was he was sick. Even though he was still sick, he gave him a pretty good fight. So yeah, Manny Gambirian, he was in the Ultimate Fighter 3. I don't think he would. Maybe he'd do good against just some regular fighter, but I think Nick Lenz is too high up on the scale nowadays. All right, so time to get into the prelims. These fights I did see. All right, the first fight, Eddie Wineland versus Johnny Eduardo. Now, I thought for sure, if I could bet on him, I would have bet on Eddie Wineland. I thought for sure he was going to come in and win this fight, mainly because I didn't know who Johnny Eduardo was. But Johnny Eduardo, he had some pretty good striking. And then I heard that he trains with, I think, Brow. So, yeah, he's got some very good striking. I was very impressed with Johnny Eduardo's striking. And I also gained a lot of respect in my book, because I like how he said he loves the UFC and he loves the US. Because, these Brazilian guys are always running around with their flags. And I really liked it that he said he loves the U.S. In the next fight, the Zach Cummings fight, pretty much, because I don't know if you guys know who Cabral is. That fight, I do have to say, Cummings is he's very impressive when it comes down to the grappling game. I'm very, very surprised. And that was a pretty good win on his part, because he lost that first round, and then he came in that second round, won that. And he just, kept going with that, kept going with the momentum. On to the next, Darrell Montague versus Kyoji Horiguchi. I think I said that right. I gotta say, Montague, he was getting severely beat up in that fight, and Kyoji, I do have to agree with the announcers. They were saying that they think that he's their best hope in becoming a champ, and he looks pretty good. I was kind of, I don't know, he got taken down kind of easily at the beginning of the fight, but either way, his taekwondo not taekwondo, karate looked very impressive. So yeah, I can't wait to see him in his next fight, pretty much. Ed Herman, I was very surprised with this fight. Now, I thought Ed Herman actually lost. When they said 27-30, and even Ed Herman made a facial expression that kind of just seemed like, oh, I can't believe that they thought I lost by that much. Now, you can, maybe take it the other way. I can't believe I won that much, but I didn't take it that way. And I thought he lost that fight, and I was very surprised that he won that, because I felt like he did more damage, but I felt that Natal landed more shots and he had more control. I guess you could have gave Herman octagon control because he was going forward, but yeah, I thought Natal won that, but not by 27-30. I didn't think either one of them won 27-30. I thought it was 2-1 Natal, really. And okay, let's get into the main card, the good fights. All right, Carrillo versus Smolka. I had Carrillo. I thought he was gonna win. I bet on him. Smolka, he did a good job, but Carrillo was landing the better shots, obviously, and he was getting the takedowns. Palilia versus Potts. Now, Palilia, I think his last win was against Pat Barry, and it was like, really? I mean, you beat Pat Barry via grappling. I mean, pretty much anyone in the UFC can do that. So I was not impressed. But and then he went in here, and his Potts guy, he didn't even know how to defend a full mount. But either way, he's got some major power because he barely landed a little kind of left hammer fist and just knocked him straight out. And him kissing the ref, I don't know what that was about, but that was, I guess that was pretty funny. Neil Magny versus Means. Now, I thought, I watched Magny in The Ultimate Fighter. I didn't think he had the experience that Means has. I seen Means in his last fight go up against Dos Anjos, and he was doing some, I think that's who he fought, and he was doing some major damage. And I don't think Magny's as good as Dos Anjos, but after watching this fight, I mean, yeah, Magny is very good. That was my bad for not putting my trust in him. But yeah, Magny looked very, very good that fight. Yeah, he looked very good in that fight, pretty much. All right, Coke versus Cruikshank. Now, Cruikshank's awesome. I mean, I have a Taekwondo background myself. So whenever I see fighters like, Cruikshank, Anthony Pettis, I would say Benson Henderson, but he doesn't really use it as much as these guys. But yeah, I mean, he was fun to watch, and he's very, very dangerous. Like, I knew that if he came in there, and threw some attacks, because that combo he did that took out Coke, that was a Taekwondo type of thing. That was 1-2 kick into another 1-2 kick. I mean, you won't see that really from Muay Thai. And yeah, he looked very impressive. I can't wait to see him. He needs to start fighting some probably top 5 opponents now. Philippou versus Larkin. I thought Larkin was finally gonna, I guess you could say, get his shit together, because he lost his last 2 and beat Philippou, so I bet on him. But he obviously he got knocked out by Philippou. Now, it wasn't a impressive win, or I mean it was, but I mean, Larkin's been losing his last couple fights. So to talk about the final fight, the fight pretty much went exactly how I thought it was gonna go. Eric Silva, he's very, very explosive, but the problem with that explosiveness is you're gonna get tired. So I thought he was going to go in there and he was going to, do some damage to Brown, but I knew that Brown can recover. Like in his last fight, he took a body shot and was down, and he was able to recover and come back even stronger. And he was able to, keep up that furious pace, and which is pretty much just what happened in this fight. Silva dropped him with that kick, wasn't able to finish. I'm very surprised he wasn't able to finish, and then Brown just did his thing and just went in there and just kept up that pace. Because, and Silva's, I don't know when, but when he did fight John Fitch pretty much has the same kind of style as Brown in a way. And that's exactly how it went down in that fight. So when I heard about this fight, I immediately, that's exactly how I thought it was going to go. I thought Eric Silva was going to go in there, do some damage, and then he was going to get tired. And then I pretty much thought Brown was going to take him out in the third, which is exactly what happened. It's too bad I didn't, become Nostradamus on my other fights. But yeah, the fight pretty much went exactly how I thought. You got to give credit to Silva, because I cannot. He took so many punches. And especially elbows. He was just getting hit everywhere. I'm surprised he lasted so long, because really, after the first round, he was just a punching bag for 2 rounds. Yeah, I'm really surprised he was able to take that kind of beating. But overall, I thought the card was pretty okay. It was mainly because it was very, very technical. Most of the guys that were all very evenly matched, so we didn't see anything crazy for the most part, other than the Khrushchev fight. But yeah. So I thought the car was pretty okay, and this is my review.